Today I'm talking to Quintin Rodriguez-Harrison, lead game programmer and co-founder of Zapling Studios, about their new game, Justice Royale. It's a fast-paced brawler with RPG elements, and it has 3 modes: Story, Rumble, and Rival, and it's completely built for mobile. Quintin, can you tell me a bit about the game and basically the background and how you came up with it?
Oh, yeah, sure. First, I want to say thanks for having me here. It's great to have an opportunity to talk about the game, talk about our work, and just be part of the community. So, talking about Justice Royale, well, our company, Zapling Studios, it's just a couple of us friends, and we always had an idea where we wanted to make a game at some point and have it be a homage to a bunch of things we loved growing up. So, I played a lot of fighting games. My buddies played a lot of beat 'em ups, brawlers, Double Dragon, Street Fighter, all that jazz. So we wanted to take that and be able to incorporate it in a way of mobile that would be fun, fast-paced, and not get blurred out with the mobile games that have all these like nagging controls where you have to press a bunch of buttons on screen and is unnatural. So our first problem we had to solve was our control scheme. What do we want to do? So we ended up figuring out a nice control scheme using just gestures, since that's what people are used to on mobile. Just having gestures represent your actions. So the way the game works, on the left side of the screen, wherever you put your thumb down, wherever you touch, it's going to bring a joystick to that area. And when you move around, the joystick will then move to wherever your thumb is at. On the right half of the screen, that's going to be for your actual actions. So tapping will be for your attacks. If you keep on hitting somebody while you're tapping, you'll go into a little combo. Swiping left and right on the right half side will let you dash, lets you evade attacks and follow up when you're doing combos and moves. This is where we try to differentiate our controls a bit, where doing a long swipe up will let you do a jumper cut, we're calling it. So it's like a bootleg Shoryuken from Street Fighter. So he just jumps straight up in the air, knocks people down. And then you do a little flick upward. He does a standard uppercut. There's actually a launcher. And when you launch someone in the air, they'll be floating for a little bit. You can continue hitting them, and they'll take double damage in the air before they crash to the ground. And it lets you have different opportunities. So you can relaunch somebody, you can uppercut them back to the ground while they're in the air, and whoever the person hits when he's coming back down, they'll also take damage. So we wanted to create just that fundamental rule set where you have those main actions for your character, and then from there we built upon the game having different skills that I'll go into later, and just really fleshing out the character and the stages and the enemies. But from the beginning of the game, before we even had anything that was really playable, it was just trying to problem solve a control scheme that didn't feel unnatural. And we feel like we really got close to where we wanted to be, where when you play the game, it just feels like a controller in your hand.
Yeah, no, that's great, because that's one of the biggest hurdles to overcome on mobile, especially. And like with the genre you're talking about, like most people are used to having like the stick on the left and the 6 buttons or whatever on the right if they're playing on arcade or something like that. So one of those tricky things would be, how do you get that same sort of setup, like with the movement, with the jumping, like, because basically, you're moving around the screen up and down and side to side, but you also have to jump and do stuff like that, or you have to do a special move or whatever. So I can understand that would have been a pretty tricky problem to solve, but it looks like you guys have done it from what I've been watching on these videos, so that's cool. Can you tell me a bit about the actual story of the game? I mean, I've watched a couple of the commercials for it, and it's pretty funny. Like, it's that typical thing where you're walking down the street and people are, shoulder checking you and bumping into you and being really rude, and you've just had enough. So you put on your boxing gloves and you go and chase them down. I mean, that was just the idea and you went with it?
Yeah. So we're all New Yorkers for the most part in the team, aside from my one friend does our QA work, Brandon. He's out in San Francisco. But for all us New Yorkers, we really want to have a game that relates to New Yorkers and the things that we go through in our everyday lives, in terms of people with the city bikes that are all over here, just flying down the street, going the wrong way in the bike lane and almost hitting pedestrians and then getting mad at you, or people walking head down, just shoulder checking you in the street and not paying attention to their surroundings, or our other stage on the subway train. We have the Showtime dancers that do their acrobatics and their whole thing. And I mean, I've seen them come too close to hitting people before. It's really, there's so much that we get just by living here in New York that we can just go with. And, they're going to be enemies in the subway. The tourists as being aimless wanderers to get in your way.
Yeah.
But we really just wanted to just really spoof New York in our life, and just just really overemphasize the things that native New Yorkers get driven crazy by. A couple other stages we're working on in the future will be like a stage where it's raining, and our other character, our heroine, that she's not in the game yet playable, but she will be when we get our first update out. But her weapon's an umbrella, and her intro stage will be something along the lines of you in New York City while it's raining, and all the enemies are basically people carrying different size umbrellas, and the enemies will be, you'll barely even see them as a human being. They're more like a giant umbrella of danger, because when it rains here, people are just like, I almost get my eyes taken out when I walk down the street, and I'm 6'1", and I have to bob and weave, and nobody cares. Like, they're just going with reckless abandon. So we're just trying to take as much of these everyday occurrences and just make it fun, make it a little over the top. So everyone's like, yeah, I've seen that happen, or I can relate.
I thought about that. Yeah, no, like it's not that crowded here in Sydney, but it's that same thing. I mean, I think most people would be familiar from it. Like if you're in a shopping center or something like that, and it's very narrow, and you've got like 5 people walking abreast coming the other way, or you're trying to get past people, and they just stop and they just look at a window of a shop or something like that, and it's like, what are you doing? Can you not see people are walking here?
Exactly. Like, imagine if cars could go from 60 to 0. Like, people would die every day, but cars stop moving instantly, and that's how we feel when we're walking around the streets here.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, like everyone has that feeling, and people that say they don't have that feeling, that they just want to punch the person in front of them in the head, they're lying, because I think this is what it is. But yeah, I was on those commercials you made for it. I think it's just pretty cool. Like, you're just walking across the street, you get checked by the cyclist walking past, and he tells you, he gets mad at you, and so you're just like, well, that's it. For whatever reason, I'm now going to crouch down and pick up a pair of boxing gloves that just
some magical gloves,
happen to be sitting on the street. Well, put it this way, it's not as it would probably be more violent if you didn't have the boxing gloves. The boxing gloves sort of say, "Hey, exactly. we want to hurt these people, but not so badly. It's okay."
Exactly, just getting knockouts, and then you just go on your merry way. And that's another thing with the game. When we were there's a little interlude there where we were designing it. We had that talk about, do we want, like, how violent do we want it to be? And in the end, it was Davis, who's a co-founder, Davis Kwan. Like, he's doing all the artwork, and his style was just very cartoony and clean. Where we were like, let's just keep it, the way it is. Like, we don't need to add any extra effects. Because first off, it's going to be like extra development work for us to add blood and stuff flying around. And secondly, it's just like it would just take away from the art, because it just looks very clean and cartoony. So we decided just have them attack people. You have your generic like sparks when you hit people, things like that. But we still wanted to just be something where sure, you're beating up people for your guys' reasons, and every stage has a little intro comic. They'll tell you, like, this is what's going on that has them angry. There's an ambulance going by as I'm in the street. Hang on.
You should punch them in the face as they go past.
I should just chase down the ambulance. but yeah, so we just want to keep it clean, and just have it just be something that anyone can pick up, especially kids. I didn't understand how kids would react to the game until we went to a conference and an expo, and just 10-year-old kids would just head down playing, and it was amazing.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it can help them. Like, a lot of people say video games incite violence, but I think this would be the other way around. This would help you release all of that pressure. Like, because people have these thoughts. So what better than a safe boxing environment on your mobile phone to actually enact them out? That's pretty...
Exactly. I feel like Street Fighter definitely kept me out of fights in school, in middle school and high school. Just playing Street Fighter, just like playing Street Fighter in sports, just being able to get aggression out, and then just be a sane person. Like, you need an outlet, so as long as your outlet isn't hurting anybody, like, I can't get upset at you,
Yeah. And so I'm looking at the different aspects of the game just on your website, which I'll link to under the video. You've got a part about talents and boosters. Can you tell me a bit more about those?
Sure. So I talked about the basic skills that everyone has when the game starts. So in addition to that, the RPG elements of the game build around you just using your experience you gain from clearing stages to purchase new skills to give you different abilities. As the game progresses, you're going to be fighting enemies that'll have more complex AI patterns. Like, they'll be able to counter things that you're doing, especially some of the one-on-one matches where you're just fighting a boss and it's going to be a long, grinded-out battle. It'll be nice to have a boost to help you out. So we have a skill system set up where in the top left corner of your screen while you're playing, there's going to be 4 boxes. And the first box represents attack skills. Second box is your defensive skills. Third box are your active skills. And then the fourth box lets you use any of those 3 in there. So when you level up your character, when you level up your skills, you can build him so that he could be more attack power prone. He could be more defensive prone. He could be more like active skill prone. So you can really just play him the way that play him or her the way that you want. So the talents have different abilities. So one of them is like a grapple, which is like a standard grab. But once you grab somebody, our action system kicks in. Where doing a swipe up, you'll suplex them. Doing a swipe down, you'll DDT them. Tapping, you'll kick them across the room. If you just hold them, they'll be like a human shield taking damage for you until they eventually escape. Another skill, meteor cut. When someone has less than half life and you uppercut them, they'll fly in the air like a meteor, come crashing down. Anyone they hit will also take splash damage.
Nice.
So we just wanted to we have a shield guard, so you swipe down, be able to block for X amount of time. We just really wanted to make it feel like you can customize your character to really play the way you want. Some people want to just be out there mashing buttons, doing combos. Some people want to actively be doing different skills when they play. I know some people just like to be tanks in their games. I mean, that kind of mindset came from us playing. I played a lot of MMOs, well, not a lot as most people, but played a lot of Warcraft. Played this other game, Ragnarok Online, back in the day. And my buddy Davis, he's all about League of Legends, and I'm on League of Legends now too. So just those, just having different types of systems, different ways to customize, and just make characters feel like your own, we thought was very important.
Yeah, no, that's cool, because what you were saying there before about whether someone's a tank or they're more into the agility kind of thing, that also helps people, especially on mobile, who are getting used to the control, right? So when they start out, they might choose to be more of a tank and take more hits, and then when they get more comfortable with being able to move and jump around and do all the tricky stuff, then they say, well, I don't need to be a tank so much anymore. I can go out there and have a bit more of the the fast moves or the more intricate kind of tricks that you can do. So yeah, no, it's really good that you've made that allowance, not only for different, I suppose, skill levels, but different, just different styles of play, because different people want to punch people in the face differently.
Exactly. And when it comes to the boosts are more of an extension of that, where you just get a temporary bonus to different abilities. So in our system, when you die, our life system is more, it's kind of like a fake way of having lives. So when you run out of hit points, your character collapses and their spirit leaves their body and starts floating up out of the screen. When it goes out of the top of the screen, like, you failed the stage, it's game over. But as they leave, you can tap the spirit back down to their body, and then you get like your new life. Oh, nice. The more that you die, the faster they start leaving the screen, and there's like a 1 second delay every time you die. So before you can even bring them down, you have to wait a second. And if you die too many times, like that second, they might be already out the screen by that time. But so we have different things like a boost where if your guy goes outside the screen, you'll just come back to life automatically. So it's like a free life. We have like attack boosts, and they're just temporary boosts, so they last 20 real-time minutes. And we wanted it to be something where, like everything else in the game, like, you can purchase using the game's currency. And you can also win these boosts by playing the game. You're doing our Rumble stages, which are basically survival modes. Yeah, we wanted. I feel like that was also a good way to just like help people out too. They're new, but they want to just get through a stage and see like how high their combo can go, how quickly they can clear a stage. Getting those achievements for time and not boost is something that I feel people would also like to collect.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds really like you guys have really put a lot of thought into how the life system works and how all the boosts work, and that's one of the biggest things, I guess, in balancing a game, just making sure that all that stuff, like from a gamer's perspective, they don't realize how intricate that can be. And from a development standpoint, what are you guys using to actually make the game?
Yeah, we're using Coco's 2D, which is a 2D engine for iPhone. It started on iPhone originally. They also have a branch that's for Android. But this engine is what I really learned how to program on iPhone with. So I've come a long way. My background, I've been in advertising most of my life, and I was always an ActionScript programmer. So I was dealing with ActionScript, and I knew a little bit of C++. I got into iPhones when the 4 came out, And once I saw Code Goes 2D, the way that you write the code, the way it's structured using scenes and actions, it really made sense to me as a person coming from doing Flash, where we're working with movie clips, working with a timeline. So I've been using this engine, and I really love it. I mean, it's open source. The community is amazing. The guys that are behind it are working on getting a Kickstarter up to make their newest version using Apple's language Swift, Swift 2.0, I believe. So I love it. It has its limitations, but for what we needed to do as our first game, it's been more than adequate. So
Yeah.
that's really been it's like my baby. It taught me how to taught me how to make games, and this is a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, like you mentioned the community there, and I think behind any technology, one of the most important aspects is if you've got a community, so you can go and Google things and find out and ask questions of experts, and get a bit of sort of mentorship going, or at least find examples of stuff that you can borrow from. And it's really I can't stress that enough to anyone that's listening who wants to develop games. Like as you've said, it's been a learning thing for you. Like you've sort of gone to it from something else. But because it had such a good community, it's enabled you to make something that's pretty funky.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also with the community side of things, so you guys, you haven't yet had a Kickstarter, or are you going on Kickstarter, or what's the deal there?
Okay, so our whole thing is that, well, at least for me, I wanted to make a game that I could make. I didn't want to. I'm not the type of person who likes to borrow from people. I'm really very independent, and my co-founder Davis as well. He's saying, like, we clicked because he reminds me of myself when I was his age. He's a little younger than me, and it's just like he's got that same mindset. Like, we're both stubborn bastards sometimes about things, and we just gotta let each other know, like, hey man, you're done with this. Stop working on it. Like, stop going crazy with it. Yeah. But the thing about making the game, we really want to make something that was built around our time and something that we had to own ourselves. Whereas when it came down looking at Kickstarter, it's just one of those things where people were telling me about, hey, get someone to invest in you guys. But for me, I didn't want to bring any kind of outside debt in, or like feel indebted to anybody else, aside from myself already having to work like 9 to 5 during the day, and then work from 7 at night till midnight, or God knows how long I work some days. So I didn't want any more pressure outside of that. And also because I didn't feel like it was really warranted for our game. And we didn't feel it was, because all we really needed, we had our laptops, we had our devices, and we just needed time. It was just time to work on it, time to figure things out. But that's all it really was. When I looked at other Kickstarters for what people are doing, people have grand ideas, they have massive games, like they aren't working, and they're going to need to have funds in order to survive while they're making this game. I completely understand that. For us, like, we all had 9 to 5s, like, we were good financially, and it was something on the side that we knew would eventually get to a point where it could be our main, our main job, God willing. But yeah, so we're not looking at Kickstarter. And in terms of the game and like profitability and whatnot, we're looking to drop this game for free. And I mean, it's like the standard type of, standard type thing where we're gonna have a stage. When the stage is finished, it'll go and it'll show you a video for like 30 seconds or whatnot. If you make any kind of purchase in our store, which basically just lets you buy more in-app currency, but any kind of purchase you make will then kill ads forever. So if you got the game for free, if you like it, if you spend $1, then ads are going, and you got some more money in game. And and that's cool. It was great. But for us, our main goal was get our first game out. Is really do something that feels like it could be on a console. Just really show that we care about what we're doing as a new company, because no one knows who we are. We have to really come out with a big bang and a great first impression. And the main point is just to build a fan base. Like, we just want to build an audience and have people be like, hey, these guys' first game came out and they nailed it. They really care about it, and just build a trust with people that enjoy our games. So then coming down the line, it'd be like, okay, maybe we have like 2 casual games coming out, and we can just drop them each for $1 and then not worry about anything else. And something like that. But initially, it's really just about getting people to get on the game, play it, enjoy it, and anything in the game that you purchase, nothing is locked behind a store. There's unlockables that is like, hey, clear this guy and you'll get this special skill. So like sometimes, like, we really want to make a game that you have to play. It's not really about I'm just gonna go buy this thing in the store for $3 and now I have it. Like you could buy money in the store to help strengthen your other skills so that you can then beat this guy and get that special ability. But you know, we still really want you to play. And then that was the main thing. So long story short, no Kickstarter. We are just spending our own money, getting everything done, and just looking to build out fan base and make something people want to come back to.
That's really admirable, yeah, and not having to sort of be beholden to anyone when you're making a game probably gives you a lot more. Well, A, it's less stress, and then B, it's a lot more creative freedom for you guys, and you can just sort of make what you want without having to worry that you've promised X, Y, Z, but then you've changed your mind partway through. You're free to change your mind whenever you like doing it this way.
Yeah, exactly. And you've seen like some of those disastrous Kickstarters where some goals couldn't be, fulfilled for people. And geez, why is this so noisy here? I hope this doesn't sound as bad on your recording.
Oh, it's fine, man. It's giving me the New York vibe. I mean,
okay, got it. People know I'm really in New York.
Yeah, and you're wearing boxing gloves right now, and you're walking around the streets looking for people to hit. No,
exactly.
So like, and the other thing that you said, which struck a chord with me, was the whole working 9 to 5 and then working on the game as a side project. I mean, I started working on a game myself over a year ago, it was now, and I've hardly gotten anywhere because it is one of those things. Like, I'm just working solo, but yeah, I totally feel you on the whole aspect of you're working 9 to 5, you come home, you do a little thing, or you might not touch it for several weeks. But so what you guys have done, you actually look like you've put your heads down, you've shown a bit of dedication, and I think, does it make it easier that you're working in a team from that aspect? Because I know, like, I play team sports, and I know I feel bad if I don't show up for a game some weeks. So is it kind of like that with having a team for making a game?
Yeah, it's great to have people behind you to, that if you're feeling, for me, if I'm feeling like I can't figure something out, I feel like there's more at stake. It's not about like, oh, I just can't figure this out, so I'll fix it when I need to fix it. This is just something where it's like, I can't figure this out, and we're all going to be held back unless I get this thing going. And vice versa. It happens with everyone on the team, from David's doing artwork to our buddy Shane who's doing all the audio. Basically, like, us three are the main creatives and producers. So it's just something where, if you can't get something done, you're going to be affecting another person. And I've been, my whole life, I've been so independent, and my dream of doing gaming always revolved around like me being able to do it myself. Like, I can do it myself, but I had to learn that you can't do everything yourself. I mean, you can, but sometimes it's not the best way. And when I met my friend Davis, when I met him at my last job in the ad industry, he had that same like stubbornness mindset about what he wanted to do. And it just clicked and worked for us. And like, I could trust him with things, he could trust me, and we could just go forward. So it's definitely great to have people who have your back, that when you finish something, you feel like, hey, I did it for the team. When my Dropbox syncs at 3 a.m. and I see some Flash art get updated from Davis, I'm just like, wow, it's Christmas. Or when I see some audio files pop in, I'm like, wow, it's amazing. So it's nice because you don't have to worry about everything being on you. It's just about, especially for me as a programmer, a lot of things have to just come to me, and then I can tie them up together. A lot of times I'm programming and I have just placeholders and just dumb-looking artwork just in place, or like the same character just reused everywhere for something. Then when I get the art and I put it in, and then I'm like, oh wow, now this is actually looks like a game now. That actually looks like a thing.
I've spoken to about that topic with a couple of other people, and that is one of the things. A lot of people get disheartened if they're not artists, like programmers. They make stuff and they go, oh, this is going to be terrible. But what they fail to realize is, no, it'll actually look really good once the artist gives you some art to put in there. So you just, don't sweat it too much. Focus on the actual gameplay and how it feels. And then, when the art comes in, it'll just look 1,000 times better. So, yeah.
Exactly. Like, when we first started, I mean, we've been working on this game, it feels like it's 2015. It's going to be 2016 soon. Jeez. So we've been working on this game probably 2.5 years, like 3 years. And it's something where if I could put all our man hours together, it would probably be maybe like 6 months, 7 months if we were working like a 40-hour week. So when I look at it like that, I'm like, all right, you know what? It's not bad. Plus, like, I was learning a lot programming-wise. Dave was learning a lot in terms of like how he should supply the art to me. We're learning a lot with Shane about what size audio files we should get because the app size would blow up, and we're like, all right, we got to trim this down a bit. How we make this work? So there were a lot of things we had to really iron out, and I feel like that first year and a half, 2 years, really, it was just learning for all of us. And then, really, this last year is where things just picked up, where we got to a point where we could go to expos in the city, show off our game, talk to people, have people just sit down and play. And one of the first things we did when we just had just one character done, just the main character, we went to Comic-Con in 2013, and we brought our iPads, and we're just walking around there. And anyone who was online to play a cool AAA game, like I think, what was it that was coming out? I think Watch Dogs was coming out that, like the following year, so they had people online to play that. A bunch of things going on here, and we're just like, hey guys, you guys taking this try out our game? We're indie devs, we're looking to see what we can tweak, this and that. And when they got the game, I mean, everyone's first impression looking at it, they were like, what the hell is this? Because it was just a tile map stage that just had different colors. It was my red, green, yellow, and blue boxes there, so I could like keep track of the tiles and the screens. And then we had just the main character there. Everything else was ugly for the UI, and every enemy you fought was just you, but in green. But the controls were pretty much where we had gotten them to where we felt they were tight. And mainly it was just about, hey, you can play this ugly-looking game, but if you have fun with it, then we're getting somewhere. And that's really how it was. I remember this guy literally told me, you know what, this actually is fun. I was like, oh, nice. So when you saw it, you definitely didn't care for it. But now, after playing, like, you get it. So sometimes it's nice to just have a raw product because the person is just like, all right, this is ugly. Like nothing, they can't get distracted by anything because it looks dumb. They don't want to play it. But then, if your gameplay can carry you and they enjoy themselves, then you're really just 80% of the way there. Everything else can be added in, audio, artwork. But if you have a pretty game but it plays terribly and not having fun, then there's no point.
And that's one of those fine lines, as you know, like, so it's, you've got to nail down the gameplay to get people to actually get excited about it and tell others about it. But then there's that fine line of if they look at it and they don't like the look of it, though, they won't sometimes pick it up. So it's that you've at least got to get it to a point like you guys have got it now, where it's actually starting to look pretty sexy and it's playable. But at least now when they pick it up, they'll be even more surprised. It's like, holy shit, this not only looks decent, but it's really well, it's easy to play and I'm having fun. So yeah, like focusing on the gameplay first is a really smart idea. So it's cool that you guys have done that. Cool.
Thank you.
So I won't take any more of your time, Quintin. There's actually, I know you're a big Bulls fan, and there's currently a game that's on with the Thunder versus Bulls, and the Bulls are only just losing, so you might want to go watch that.
No, I got you. Yeah, I gotta check it out. I gotta read up on drama in the locker room, all this stuff, all those tabloids about the team, but I'm having a good time. See how the NBA season goes. I have my heart broken as a Mets fan already.
Yeah, I
with
heard.
the World Series, so I can at least look to my Bulls and be a little happy. But we'll see.
Look, dude, don't even worry about it. Just get on some boxing gloves and just take it out on.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks very much for your time. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
no, you
I
go.
just want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about the game. And if in the future when the game comes out, I definitely reach out to you. We could have like a sit down and talk. If I can even get the game in your hands somehow, we'll see in terms of like porting and whatnot. But thanks so much for the opportunity. It was really, I know it's hard work for you, and I really appreciate it.
No, thank you very much, Quintin. It's the pleasure's been all mine. Thanks, mate.
All right, take care.